Greetings, this is Doug the Eclipse Whisperer with another fine training session on our favorite software, Epicor Eclipse. Yeah. Anyway, today's session will cover sessions. Multiple sessions in either Solar or eTerm, locked transactions and record locks, and how to clear them as necessary when they come up. Now, as you know, Epicor Eclipse is underneath all of the business logic and the interesting interfaces is a database, Rocket Universe. And it is a multi-user system, obviously, multi-user concurrent user database. In order for it to manage the things that it does, for example, if you had a sales order, you wouldn't want two people being able to be in the same sales order at the same time making changes to it, because this is an older database, so it would have no way of communicating in real time to one user in edit mode what the changes that the user in the other session in edit mode would do. So back in the day, their simple way of handling that situation is the first person that got into the record got edit mode, and for the duration of that session until they saved the changes and exited out of it, they were the sole editor. Anyone else could get into that transaction and see what was in it prior to the last current edit, but they were in view mode. They couldn't make any changes. This causes a problem if you get a session that goes wonk. Sometimes a transaction will get stuck in edit mode and then you can't get back into it to fix it up. So you have to find ways of closing that hung session, whether it be in eTerm or Solar. And as a last resort, if closing the sessions don't work, then you have to go into the database record manager and unlock the record. But that is a last resort. Now it should be said that Eclipse, you can be logged into multiple computers. You can, in the case of eTerm, you can have several eTerm sessions running on the same computer at the same time. The system will nag at you that you're doing this, but you can do it. I can't find a way, I don't think you'd want to try and run multiple Solar instances on the same computer, but yeah, that's another issue. Anyway, the issue is normally not that you can't be logged in multiple places, is that every time you've logged in, it uses one of the licenses. So being a multi-user system, when you buy Eclipse, you buy a certain number of concurrent user licenses. One license is for the whole application, and then you have to have a block of licenses so that people can actually log into the application. Isn't that cute? That's kind of like selling you the car and then charging you extra for the keys to the door, which I'm sure they do. Anyway, quite often when a company buys into Eclipse, they have the clever idea of, I know, let's save money. Yes, we have a staff of 30 people that are going to use Eclipse, but they're not all going to use them at the same time, so I'm only going to buy 10 licenses. And that causes problems later on because, well, okay, you can get supposedly 10 concurrent users logged in. Well, what happens to number 11? Well, they get a warning, up, you're out of licenses, go pound sand until one of the licenses is not available. In eTerm, there is a control maintenance where you can do an automatic session timeout, usually set to 20 to 40 minutes, to scavenge the eTerm licenses. I don't believe there is such a setting for Solar, at least I haven't seen it. There should be, but I don't know of it. Anyway, so quite often you may have to manually close sessions if something gets hung, someone to lunch or whichever, and you don't have access to their office and you need to scavenge licenses so that other people can log in, or as I said, the dreaded hung transactions. So we will start off with multiple solar sessions. And so let me log out of this one. Okay, so I am already logged in to solar on a different computer, which is right on my desk, which is very handy, so I know it's there. And so when I go to log into a second session on a different computer, and it helps if I type in my password correctly, this little message will pop up and then go away and be hidden till I select my damn printer. All right, and we have our warning. So a lot of language to say something very simple. So it's just showing me that I've got multiple solar sessions going on now, and I may want to actually close up those other sessions so that I don't cause problems. They're assuming that I might already have some transaction open, or I might forget and open the same open the same transaction up in 2 times. As I said, you can be logged into multiple times, and if that's not causing a problem, go ahead and just ignore this. Anyway, so we're gonna take a look at this and go, okay, well, we've got 2 machines. As you see, I've got interesting computer names. And we'll take a look at the earliest one. That should be the first session that it was warning me about. This should be the current session that I'm in. And let's say that I need to log that out. So this tool has got a bit of a glitch to it in that you go to checkbox this and the checkbox won't work. It's an odd little glitch with the interface. You gotta click on it off to the side a little bit in order for it to take. If you can't put that checkbox in, you can't log out the session. Also, a lot of these pop-up windows are misleading. Like if you're not reading this paragraph long thing here, it's just warning what could happen. And you could make the mistake of thinking that when you click yes, okay, it's went ahead and closed that session, and then you can click done. It did nothing of the sort. All that was a warning. Clicking yes just closes the warning window. So you still have to take that selected session and click the logout selected session, and then it will drop off the list, and then you can click done, which is dumb. So let's say that you forgot that and you did done, and you can go into the transaction that you need to go into and it's still locked for editing, and you shit, what the hell happened? To get back into that session manager tool, click on your login here. On the drop down, do my logged in sessions, and you're back into the tool again. For some strange reason, the second time that you go to run it, the checkbox works fine. Weird glitch. If you don't know it's there, it'll screw you up. Yeah, same thing, blah 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 blah, yes, click yes, I acknowledge that I've seen the stupid pop-up. Alright, this time, instead of clicking done, and we're going to actually click the logout selected session. Alright, as we can see, now it's actually gone. On the other computer, it will not actually automatically close the solar interface. The solar interface will still show running in the background. What it will do is it will pop up a little message, says your solar session is no longer valid. And when someone gets back to that computer and clicks OK on that message, then the solar interface closes. So the session's logged out, but the interface stays running. Not the way I would do it, but wonderful Java applications. And at that point, we can go ahead and click done. So we're at our 1 session, and that's all hunky-dory. Now let me go open the second session again and show when that doesn't work, because occasionally that won't work. Okay, I have my second session back up for testing. So if you have gone to the session manager and you have tried to log it out, and for some strange reason the session still refuses to log out, which will happen on occasion. Now, as far as I know, I'm the only one that's been having this problem the past year or two, but I have had this weird bugaboo with the Solar interface. On some users, in some cases that I can't quite trace down, when they go to log in, Solar will get 90% done into loading. It'll go to load the widgets and these little doodads here, if there are any. It will freeze up for about a minute and then it'll throw an error. And the error will be something extraneous, something about error loading widgets, server interface, something, something. It won't make any sense. You'll click on OK, and it will look like Solar is running just fine. The desktop is there, all the widgets are there, and it may even let you get into a transaction or something. But within 30 seconds or so of going into that transaction, the entire interface will crash, and it will lock. It'll lock whatever record that you had, whatever transaction you had that you were trying to edit. I don't know if a lot of people are having this problem. As I said, I've only had this problem regularly occur only with certain users on certain computers. I've never been able to nail down exactly what the problem is. Eclipse India Tech Support seems to think that it is a network issue, and I've traced the network, and I'll have 5-10 machines on one network. Everyone else is fine, but that one user on that one machine isn't. If I have the user log into a different machine, the problem seems to follow them. I've tried deleting all the widgets and recreating them or leaving them blank. That doesn't seem to solve the problem. I don't know. My best guess is that it seems to have something to do with the default communication speed on the physical network interface of the computer. In some cases, there seems to be something that doesn't quite jive right with how the Java app is passing packets through the network interface. Even though every other application on the computer will seem to work fine, Solar will get a little weird. I have been able to take a computer and take it off the wired network and connect it onto the wireless network and have the error go away completely, which drives me crazy. Anyway, I'm just saying all that this might be one of those conditions where if Solar crashes upon loading, it may lock a transaction, and then you have to get a little bit more extreme. So if you can't get into Solar to run the session manager to clear out the sessions, there is another tool that's available to you. A few of them anyway. So there is a session manager administrator that is on the web page that's used for the Eclipse manual and the Solar software downloads. What you will do is you will go into a web browser and you will type in the IP address and port of your main Eclipse server. If you don't know what that is, you can see it right here in your logged in Solar sessions. In my case, you can see the app server is 10.4.1.146, port 2080. You will plug that information into the browser as such. All right. This landing page is used for a variety of things in Eclipse. If you need to install, reinstall Solar, the download is here. If you are having trouble sleeping and you want to read the great big, probably 1800 page manual on Eclipse and all of the little subtleties of it, it's a real page turner. So that's in there, both Solar, the Eclipse application in general, and eTerm you can get at in there. These links don't help any, but the one that we're particularly interested in here is Solar Admin. And this is the master session manager for the entire system. You have to have an administrator account to get into this tool. I've already logged into it once, so it seems the session token is still valid. Normally when you go into this, it'll pop up a login and password, your Eclipse administrator login and password, and then you get to it. All right, this will give you how many licenses are in your system. In our system we have 18 concurrent user licenses. It'll give you some idea of in use. The in use number is never right. Just starting the Eclipse application and logging in one user for some strange reason takes up 4 licenses. So I've always fought with the thing. In this case, it gives you all kinds of funny numbers here. In this case, it shows 11 are in use, and I've got 18 total available, and it's only going to give me 4. Thank you, Eclipse. Luckily, it does better math on the accounting and the inventory than it does on tracking licenses, strangely enough. Anyway, so if I was not able to clear those Solar sessions within Solar with the Session Manager, I can use this tool if I'm the system administrator and select the one that's the problem and just click Logout Session. And just like the other route, it'll pop up a warning on the machine that the Solar interface is still running on, if it's still running, warning people that the session's no longer active, and it will close Solar afterwards, one way or the other. So this is round 2. Now this will not help you if a record is still locked, which on rare occasions that will happen. Usually closing the hung session will unlock the record, and then you can go back into your sales order or your transfer order or your purchase order, whatever it was that you're trying to get back into, and go forward. In very rare occasions, closing the session will not unlock the record, but it's very, very rare. Anyway, and of course none of these tools help you with eTerm. So we'll now move on to the next part. And we'll go ahead and close this out here. And move this way. Okay, everybody's favorite interface, eTerm. So to get at the session record locks, once again you have to actually be an administrator. F2 for system, S for system programming, and M for system maintenance. Got all that? Whoopee. All right, so if you go here to license maintenance, this is where you could go if you have eTerm users and you're trying to close an eTerm session. It does not work on Solar. In this case, I've got a user here that's running both Solar and eTerm. For my company, that's not unusual. One session license can be used for a Solar session and an eTerm session. So even though he's one user logged into 2 interfaces, it still only uses 1 license. If he were logged into Solar twice, it would use 2 licenses. Yes, I know that's screwy. Anyway, if he were just an eTerm user and I needed to terminate that session to unlock something, then I would do Alt-D for detail, and I would do kill. And I could send him a message ahead of time warning him that I'm about to kill him, that type of thing. I used to be able to kill Solar sessions this way too, but now they've taken that away, and so you have to use the Solar Session Manager that we just went through. So such is the case. eTerm sessions are notoriously hard to lock up because they're old Telnet sessions, and they're very, very robust. And since they're very simple, they're very self-cleaning. And as I said, most cases people they don't have as many licenses as they have users, and so they've put timeouts on the sessions, so if the session doesn't show any activity in 20 or 40 minutes, it will automatically terminate anyway. But occasionally this does happen, especially if you're working for some real cheapskates and they've done something like buy 5 user licenses for 25 user company, and now you're having to spend a lot of your day having to go in and close sessions because there aren't enough licenses for everybody. And boy, what a joy that is. Thank you lunkhead owners that decide you needed to save $1,700 that badly. Anyway, so that is how you would clear a eTerm session, and this license manager gives you a cleaner idea of what you've got available and what's being used. All right, So the final thing is you've done all that, and the transaction that you're trying to unlock is still locked. Very rarely happens. Very, very rarely happens. But it does. And so that can be handled by doing current record locks. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. All right. And as we said, multi-user system. And so here gives us what transaction records are currently being edited and by who. As of course, S is for sales order, T is for transfer order, P is for purchase order. So using me as an example, I have got a open bid on a session, and so that's locked in edit mode. If I've done all the things that I can do, so if I go ahead and do an Alt U for unlock record here, that will clear the record up so the next person that gets into it can go into edit. If there is a session open somewhere, it will throw a warning message on that session, but in most cases, if you've resorted to this, you don't have any sessions open that would be doing that. So, and that is how you handle frozen sessions and record locking on Solar and eTerm. Hopefully this will be of benefit to you to know, and with some luck you'll never have to do. But if you do, there you go. And I probably saved you waiting a day for India Tech support if you put in a case to try and unlock that thing, because that was all they're going to do. So, thank you for your time and attention, and as always, have a wonderful day.